Hello and welcome. My name is Josie, if we haven't met before. This is a podcast all about uh, my love of making things and sharing with you guys who also love to make things. This is my fifth episode, so if we haven't met, I am a stay-at-home mom and I have a 1-year-old son, almost 2, and my favorite hobby is knitting. And this is why I have made this podcast to share with you. So, for the month of June, I have 3 finished objects, 2 knitting, 1 spinning, which is so fun, spinning. And then I have 2 whips that I'll share as well. So, let's just jump right in to what I'm wearing because it's a finished object. It is the Vegas top by I think Suzanne Mueller. I've seen 2 different names for this pattern, but I think Suzanne Mueller. I'll write it on the screen. Maybe I'll write both names, but so yeah, this is what it looks like. I had some trouble. My gauge is tighter, first off. I think it's 2 stitches tighter, and I also went up a needle size. And it was still 2 stitches tighter, so I decided to just go with it anyway. I did like a few math calculations and saw that I would still be knitting the same size, and so I just went with it. And it's funny because I bought 1 extra ball of yarn and I ran out of yarn. I wanted it to be longer, and I ran out. I used all the yarn I could. So I knitted it to the length that it called for because I was getting so close to the end of my yarn. And then I did the I-cord bind off, which the pattern calls for. It's I-cord edging everywhere. And it was too short. I'll stand up again, but it was like 1 inch above my belly button. And I have a long torso, but none of my pants go up higher than my belly button, so I was showing a little bit of stomach, which I don't like. I'm not comfortable with, and so yeah, it was probably about right here. It's about 2 inches shorter. And so I took out the I-cord bind off and I measured, so I took out the I-cord bind off, but I separated it so that I knew how much I needed for the bind off, and then I compared that to the ball that I already had, the leftover ball, and I just held them up side by side and kind of the 2 strands, my I-cord bind off strand and then from 1 strand from the new ball, and I just made sure they were the same length. I added about 1 foot, and then I knitted with the I-cord bind off yarn to add some length, and then I marked how much I would need in the new ball. I did a slip knot and put a stitch marker in the slip knot and just knitted until I got to that slip knot stitch marker, and I still ran out of yarn when I did the I-cord bind off. I was about 10 stitches too short. Luckily, I was able to, when I swatched, I did 2 swatches, and I don't even know how much to guess. I had enough left over from the swatches, from the balls of the swatches, to add that yarn to the I-cord bind off. So in the back part, there's a thick part. I have it here. I'll show you. So it's right between my fingers. But I don't think you can tell. But then I also messed up. Can you see? I'll take a picture if you can't see where I was pointing, but I also somehow twisted 2 stitches And I don't know how I did that. I never noticed it. I was probably just while I was watching a TV show or something, but I could have gone back, especially since I ripped out the I-cord, but it was gonna be like a good 5 inches. So it's on the back of me, I don't see it, so I don't think other people will notice except if they're a knitter, and if they're a knitter, maybe they have the same, maybe they feel the same about, you don't need to fix every mistake, but this is my only tank top. I love it so much. It's a little scratchy. The yarn, I use Drop Belle. I'll put the color on because I don't have the labels anymore. I'll put the color on the screen. But I used Drop Belle. It was my first time using it. It was so much easier to knit with. It didn't hurt my hands until the I-cord bind off. And I had pain in my wrist all the way up to my forearm for a day or two after I did the I-cord bind off. I don't know if that's normal, if other people get some pain when they do like I-cord bind off. It makes me a little bit nervous because a goal of mine is to knit the Cumulus tee one day, and I know that has I-cord bind off, so I don't know. I'll just have to keep that in mind. But, and I'm also not, so the I-cord bind off on the underarms kind of rolls in a little bit, which I don't mind. It's a good length. The underarm, it's a good length. It doesn't show like bra at all, so I'm looking in the viewfinder to make sure that I can show you, but that right there, I have no idea how to pick up stitches from the neckband well. I feel like I always get those holes right there when I move from like the center part, you know, there's like usually some flat stitches before you start the angled. And whenever I move there, I always create this hole. I say always, this is my second time having picked up knitted stitches, or having picked up stitches for the neckband, but I get that hole. So if you have any tips to avoid these, I found a video that I thought was helpful, but I still ended up getting these holes. So if you have any tips on how you pick up stitches for your neckband without making holes, I'd love to hear it. But it's super fun. I've been wearing it a lot. It's DK weight yarn, so it's a little heavy for, you know, summer days, but it hasn't been too hot here lately in Indiana where I live. So it hasn't been too hot lately, and I've been really enjoying it. It is a little bit short, like I said, cropped. It's not, I would love it to have like 1 more inch, like to come down to right here. 1 or 2 more inches, that's probably 2 inches. So I don't wear it out in public or like around other men, because if I bend over to help my son or like pick my son up, it does show like my back, and it doesn't show midriff, but it does show my back, and so it's not as wearable as I would love it to be, but it's really comfortable, and around family, I'm comfortable wearing it. So it's been really fun. As I was saying, this is my only tank top. I do not have any tank tops, store-bought or made. And I was looking through my closet, and I cannot believe that. And so I want to make more. I want to make more tank tops. I would like a lighter one, like fingering weight, but I also know that would take longer, so probably DK. So if you have any favorite tank top patterns, let me know. Even yarn that you used too. At the end of the video, I'll mention some of my favorites of the month, and I'll mention a video where I found a lot of good summer yarn suggestions. But if you have favorite tank tops, I'm looking for a higher neck, wider strap that I'm like, it won't show bra ideally, and then I like cropped, but I need to be able to lengthen it to a good length too. So if you have any fun or favorite tank top patterns, let me know, because I am on the lookout. But yeah, finished object, super fun. My next finished object I don't have with me because it was gifted, but I'll put it on the screen, some pictures. It was my second pot holder, my second double thick pot holder. I made in a very fun yellow color and gave that to my friend after she finished grad school, and then she had a month before she gets married, and I get to be in her wedding, and so I gave that to her, and it was really fun to like pray for her as she goes through these big life transitions, and then give that to her that she can have her in her new home with her new husband in 2 weeks. So yeah, so this is my second time knitting this pattern, the double thick pot holder. This time I did the three needle bind off without the modified version, so it stuck up. The first time I knitted it, I did the modified 3 needle bind off, which was a lot more work, but also it was more flat, and I was thinking for a pot holder you wouldn't want like a ridge in the middle of your pot holder, because I just imagine whatever is hot would like tilt, right? But it doesn't tilt at all. Like it is a ridge, but it's very flexible, so a bit like a pot is not gonna tilt. It's not that strong. So I'm glad I just did the regular 3 needle bind off because it was a lot less work. It was much faster. For that yarn I used the Lily Sugar and Cream. Again, I'll put the color on the screen because I don't have the label anymore. But and again, this time I bought 16-inch needles. That's what the pattern calls for. The first time I did magic loop, and I just could not avoid the laddering that was happening. This time I just bought 16-inch needles since I could see myself doing this, and I really enjoyed the pattern. I could see myself doing it for other people, and so I went ahead and bought 16-inch needles, and it was so much better. Much better knitting experience, I thought. And I also had a better cast on experience. So the pattern calls for cable cast on. The first time I knitted it, I would, after each stitch, I like tightened it. I just followed the instructions of the pattern, and it suggested to like tighten it. But with the cotton yarn, it was too much. And so after the first time I knitted it, I kind of had this bevel, like the cast on was smaller than the size of the pot holder, if that makes sense, like it went down. I hope that makes sense. But this time I did not tighten after every stitch of the cable cast on, and I didn't have any issues. It like stayed, the tension stayed, and it made for a neater pot holder at the end. So this one was a lot of fun. It was really awesome to see it like be better than the first one I made, even if it was a simple pot holder. That really is a fun byproduct of knitting the same pattern, as you can see yourself improve in like a specific area that kind of caused you some issues the first time. So that was really fun. I enjoyed doing that, and I loved giving it to her, and I'll get to celebrate her wedding in 2 weeks with her, so it will be a lot of fun. And then my last finished object is a spinning object, but I'll leave timestamps below so that you can skip if you're not interested. But I did finish my sample spin of the, let me think, of the border Leicester sample fiber. So yeah, it was pretty thick yarn. That's why I think I finished it so quickly. It's just hanging out here. I had like I finished this 2 weeks ago, I think. It's been hanging out on here because I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to finish it. Like, for example, when I take the yarn off, yeah, okay, I think it's focused on it. Like, it just starts to unravel, right? Like, it's not secure in any way. It wants to focus on my face, I'm sorry. Well, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to finish it. And I was thinking, okay, well, I should probably ply it, right? But I don't know if I need to ply it, just because it's so thick. Part of me is like, if I want to use it for punch needling, I think it's like thick enough for punch needling. So I haven't spun anything else because I don't know what to do with this. I'm hoping this weekend, every other weekend, I get some alone time. My husband will take my son Saturday morning, and I get to go out around like 7 a.m. and then come back around noon, and just have some alone time. We try to have that every other weekend. And so there is my local spinning guild has a store, and they are open from like 12 to 4 on some days, and I'm thinking about going this Saturday and bringing this and saying, I love some help, like what do I do next? Also, do you have knit nights or something? So but it's super fun. I made yarn. It looks so pretty. I don't mind that I can't get it off because it does look really pretty, but it would be fun to practice with like my Romney, you know, my big old Romney thing. But super fun. Okay, for whips, my first whip, should I show you an old whip or my new whip? Old whip, probably. I have made good progress on my cardigan. So that's where we were last time. So a good 3 inches, which if you think about it, this is how I help myself feel better that this project is taking so long. I'm like, well, if it's 15 rows, it's actually 30 rows because you knit into the row below. And so if it's 3 inches, I actually did 6 inches. So that's what I've been doing, but I also, you can see from the button band how far. This yarn is just so hard to see since it's black. But I really enjoyed this. So at first it was really intimidating. I could only sit down. I think I've shared, I only sat down with like no distractions. And now I don't need to do that. I'm still in the raglan increase stage. I have, I think 7 more rows. 7 more rows, 4 more increase, or 3 more increases, I think. And then I'll be out of the raglan increase, I think. I'm not positive about that, but I think I'm very close. And I've just been really enjoying it. The other project I'm going to work on, or I'm going to show you, is also very intricate, and I think doing that gave me a lot of confidence for this one. That I was like, it's intricate, but I can do it, and so I'm having a lot of fun. I moved my lifeline down, which was exciting. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Nothing significant to show other than I wanted to update you about my mental strength, and that I can do this. I feel like I can do this now, and I'm not so scared of it, and I can just knit when I want to knit on it if I'm watching TV or if I want silence, which is really fun. I was hoping to be done with the raglan increases by the time I filmed, but I'm having really fun on my other whip too, so. For this yarn, oh, I didn't even say, it's the Ozetta cardigan. Sorry, it's the oversized seasons cardigan by Ozetta. For the yarn, I'm using Northampton Belle yarn, 100% wool, in the color charcoal. I'm really loving it. I think I'm really going to like the product when it's done, and so far I'm really enjoying the process too, so it's been really fun. For my new whip, it's a pair of socks. In my last special episode, half of the podcast, I shared with you what I got at the Fiber Festival, and I shared that I got a pair of socks, and sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted a lot today. I shared that I got a pair of, I did it again. I got some yarn for a pair of socks. The Ash and Bumble yarn 80/20 sock. Hand dyed in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'll show you the back of it too. That helps. Lace is the colorway, and it's 2-ply, and I'm having a blast knitting this. A little update. I did it did fit in my cozy, my Nitty Natty Yarn Cozy Light, I think. The I-cord bind off that I did was not too tight. It was tight, but it fits, and so it's working well. I'm really loving it. Around this time with my last pair of socks, the Mountain Walk socks, when I did a center pull ball, I was getting frustrated about this time when I like turned for the heel, that the ball was like collapsing and getting tangled, and I don't have any issues so far. So far, I'm loving the Yarn Cozy Light. But this is this yarn all knit up. I'm doing the Una socks. Oh, I forget her name, but I'll write it on the screen along with giving you a picture because it's hard to see right now. Dude, you see my bread? I just realized that you could see my bread tag. It's what I use to hold the yarn out of the way. You know, you gotta use what you got. I do think they should have, I think that is like a great notion. That would be a great notion if there's a cute little thing that you can like wrap your yarn around that like holds the yarn out of the way. Like, and on Etsy, I feel like I would buy that. But right now I just use bread tags. So sorry. Okay, let me show you again without me getting distracted by my bread tag. Oh yeah, they're looking so pretty. This is what I was craving, like a really intricate sock. I'm hoping that it will, when it blocks, I've never done lace before, fun fact, and I'm hoping that when it blocks, it won't be so like, you know, like bumpy, and that it'll like really even out. And I'm hoping it's not too big either. I didn't swatch, but I'm hoping it like evens out and kind of opens up and won't be so bubbly. But I'm having so much fun. The pattern is I got it from the 52 Weeks of Socks books. It's a 8-row repeat for the lace, and I've never done this kind of heel before. It's a slip stitch heel, but not a normal slip stitch heel. The pattern doesn't say if this kind of slip stitch pattern has a certain name, so if you can tell by what you see what it is, if that is like, if this pattern is called a certain name, please let me know. But I'm having so much fun. The first time after I did the cuff and I was going into the first of the 8-row repeat, it's a lace chart, so I've never done lace, I've never done a chart, and I ripped it back, I don't know, I want to say 6 times because I was just like messing up. I did put stitch markers. It's a 8-stitch repeat for around, and then 8 rows for the chart. And I did put stitch markers every like 8 stitches to help me not get lost, but I was just messing up. I was like constantly, I was having 7 stitches because I forgot to increase or like do a yarn over, and I was getting frustrated. But after that first time, I haven't messed up. After that first time of messing up 6 times, I learned and I haven't messed up so far. So that's exciting. And now I have turned, I'm on the gusset decreases. The side of the heel flap has a pretty garter edge. I'm on the gusset decreases, and I'm having so much fun. I think they're going to be really pretty, and are just exactly what I was hoping for. A really pretty, intricate lace pattern, and you can see it so well on this color, which is why I wanted a lighter color too. I could have gotten, like, the dyer, Ashen Bumble, she has such pretty yarn, and I was really tempted to go for a prettier, kind of colorful yarn, but this was the vision that I had, and I knew I could only get one yarn, and so I went ahead and bought this, and I'm so glad I did. She does, I will say, Ashen Bumble, she does have a line of yarn. It is called Anne of Green Gables, and I think it's out. I think it's officially dropped, or she's premiered it all on her Instagram, so I'll link her below. You should really go and look it up. It is so beautiful. The colors, and just, I love Anne of Green Gables, and the colors are beautiful, so I encourage you to go check her out. I'll leave her information in the description box, and yeah, so much fun. That is my last whip. I only have 2. I also don't have any acquisitions, besides my video that I shared, my special 4.5 episode, and I don't need to repeat from that episode, so I don't have anything else. And my family and I are going on a family vacation, so my husband and my son and I, and then my parents and my sister are going on a vacation in one of the northern states in the middle of July, and I've been saving because I'm hoping. I've been like searching Google for some yarn stores, and I have found a few, and I'm hoping that I can buy like a special sock skein there and maybe a shirt or like a tank top quantity. I think that would be so much fun. So I haven't bought anything because I'm saving, and hopefully next time I'll get to show some pretty yarn from our travels. So that's all my acquisition and plans. Quick section today. But I did want to share my favorites that I've been enjoying from the month. My husband and I got Disney Plus. We get it off and on, and we got it about a month ago when we couldn't decide on a show to watch, and so we started Indiana Jones, not a show but a movie. We watched the first one and we really loved it. I don't love older movies. I get bored with them. I love movies, and I love current movies, I guess. I just love movie editors, movie producers, actors. They're so talented. And so I love seeing, the special effects, CGI. In some cases, animated movies are amazing, and so the older movies I find myself getting a little bored with sometimes. But I really loved the first Indiana Jones movie. I thought it was really good. It was really entertaining. The second one, in my opinion, was kind of a flop. And then we heard that the third one is worse than the second one. So we haven't watched the third one yet, but we want to, because what is the third one? Is there 4 or 5? I think the 5th one is coming out soon. And so we're gonna watch it eventually, but we've been enjoying those movies. And then also, because we have Disney Plus, we watched Loki, the TV series, and then we also watched, or we are watching, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We really enjoyed Loki. It was kind of out of this world, a little bit confusing, but I'm excited to see how they tie it in. The different timelines all kind of confused me, but it was still really entertaining. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a little bit more, it's not my favorite, but it is entertaining. I don't know how it's going to tie into the rest of the Marvel world, but it's entertaining. And we're not all the way through yet, so maybe it will get really good. I just kind of am annoyed at some of the characters, and But we're excited. We still have a few more episodes to get through, and I don't know what we're gonna watch after that, but probably a Marvel series because we're having so much fun since we got Disney Plus. And then the other thing I wanted to share, another favorite, was Wool Needles Hands. I think that is her YouTube channel name. She has a lot of like educational videos. I think she also does like, here's what I'm knitting. I don't know if she calls them podcasts. She may. But I just learn a lot from her videos when I watch them. They're very like educational, I think. But she has a video on how to find summer yarn. And you basically are on her computer with her and you go shopping where she goes shopping for summer yarn. She shopped on Amazon. I just never even thought about shopping for yarn on Amazon, but she found some good, I thought, good yarns. And I have I found this pattern in Ravelry that I just think is really cute. It's a summer shirt, which if I knit another summer garment, I think I want it to be probably a tank top because I only have one. But I could see myself doing a shirt too, but I thought it was so cute, but it calls for a sport weight, like summer yarn. And I haven't seen any sport weight summer yarns, but in that video, she comes across like 3, and I got some ideas for some summer yarn. So I'll link her video below because it was really helpful for me, and I really enjoyed watching it and watching her explain like summer yarn fibers, and it was just really fun. So I'll link her video below if you want to go check out. But I think that's it for my favorites of the month. It's been a hot month, but it's been a fun month. I really love this time of year. I love the sun, I love the warmth, I love the long days. So it's been really fun. I hope you're enjoying your summer as well, and hope you have a good and fun and safe 4th of July if you are American and you celebrate. But yeah, I will see you at the end of July. Hope you have a great time until then. Enjoy your summer. Bye.